Welcome to the Wealthy Woman's Podcast, a podcast for high-achieving women who are great at making money but struggle to build wealth. You'll learn how to take control of your money, increase your net worth, and make more. Ladies, it's time to create a life with more money and more freedom. Let's dive in. Well, hello there. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so excited about this episode because I was recently being interviewed on another podcast, and the hostess had two questions for me that were from her audience. So she asked a few people to look at my website and to come up with any questions they wanted her to ask me. And here they are. Number one, how can you have an uncomplicated relationship with money if you're an entrepreneur, meaning that you have unpredictable or inconsistent income? Question number two, how is it really possible to build wealth and still buy things you love? Those were the questions. So my thought process is, if these ladies have questions around this, so many of you may too. So with that, I am turning each one of those questions into a podcast episode. And today we are going to focus on question number two, which is all about how in the world can you build wealth and still enjoy life? Pretty much that's what her question was. And I think this is a powerful question because this is what we've been taught by society. We've been taught that in order to build wealth, you have to sacrifice and give up everything you love. And what I'm going to reveal to you today is that process, that way of thinking is not benefiting us. And I have a study that shows that this way of thinking is preventing so many of us from living a balanced life filled with wealth and fun, right? And we're choosing camps. We're choosing these extremes. And I want to be the one telling you to stop that. Stop choosing the extremes. You can live a balanced life where you spend money on things that truly matter to you and create financial security for yourself. So I think this episode is going to be so liberating for so many people. Because like I said, there's a study and it was actually done by Fidelity Investments. You all, Fidelity Investments is a very reputable company. Some of you may have your investments with them, your 401k may be with them. So this is a very reputable company, and they hired an outside firm to do a money mindset study. And this study revealed the fact that so many women believe that they have to choose between living a good, enjoyable life and building wealth. And this, my friends, is keeping us stuck in financial ruts. It keeps us living in extremes versus living in balance. When we believe that we cannot have both, we live in the extreme of I'm only going to focus on my money. And when we do that, we burn out. It's hard, right? When we focus on I'm going to cut out everything, I'm not going on vacations, I'm not eating out, I'm not going out with my friends, I'm not buying any new clothes, I'm not buying presents for the holidays. We can do that for a short period of time using willpower. But willpower is not an unlimited resource. And once that willpower goes away, we burn out. We burn out and we quit and we just revert back to our old ways. And we tell ourselves, see, I just knew I was bad with money, right? And I say this all the time. It's like going on a really, really strict diet. Yes, you can eat carrot and cabbage for a certain period of time and you will lose weight. But what is going to happen when your willpower runs out? You're going to revert back and it's all going to backfire. So when we choose the extreme of, I'm just going to give everything up and focus on my money. And we do this a lot of times from a place of punishment, like we're trying to punish ourselves and whip ourselves into shape because we misbehave, quote unquote, misbehaved with money. And that doesn't work. We burn out and we give up. And then we just say, see, I'll just have to wait until sometime in the future, and that time never comes. And then we're stressed about money because we know we should be building wealth, right? So we've got this lingering stress that just never goes away. And we just try to ignore it, but it's hard to do. The other extreme is, right, we just like live life. We're like, I'm just going to live it up. I'll focus on money later, just what I said. And when we do that, we rob ourselves from having true financial security that we work so hard for and that we deserve today and in the future. We deserve to be financially secure today and in the future. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we are focusing on our money now, but you don't have to only exclusively focus on it at the expense of living your life. And that is where I come in. That's where I am the coach that is going to teach you exactly how to live that balanced approach where you're able to build wealth, get your savings going, pay off that high interest debt, make sure you're investing, always focus on earning more, make sure you're spending intentionally on things that truly matter, while making sure that your life includes pleasure that is meaningful to you. Not that false pleasure, not that quick hit of dopamine that we get when we just impulsively buy things that we really don't want or care about, but that true pleasure that is long lasting. When you figure out what truly matters to you and then you spend your money on those things, you free up money to be able to also build wealth as well. So that is what I want to help you to understand that you can do. So before we get more into my solution for this, I want to dive a little bit deeper into this study because I've mentioned this study before on the podcast, but I never really took a deep dive into it. And you can Google Fidelity Money Mindset Study and you can get these findings yourself. But I'm going to share with you the overview of it. There's really 5 components, and I'm going to go through each one of them. So the first one is all about money avoidance. The second one is money mindset. The third one is what people really want to do, their intentions. The fourth one is about budgeting. And the fifth one is around the fear of missing out. So that's kind of how it was broken down into these 5 sections. And so I'm going to go through each one of them. So first, let's look at the money avoidance. It says, when it comes to money, it's out of sight, out of mind for most. It said that 59% of the people surveyed cringe at the thought of checking their bank account balance. Now, I will say that, of course, this is a study, and people who do studies know that, yes, you take a sample of people, but this sample represents like 98% of Americans. So I want you to know that. They took a sample of people, but this, what I'm sharing with you, represents 98% of Americans according to the study. Okay, so again, 59% cringe at the thought of checking their account balance. Does that resonate with you? It kind of resonates with me, especially back in the day. I used to hate checking my account balances because I already knew that I overspent and I didn't want to see all the damage that I did. So I definitely didn't want to check my account balance. It also says that 51% don't pay attention to saving and spending as long as they have money in the bank. So as long as you know you have money in the bank, you're not really caring or focusing on saving or spending. And then 32% say that they are anxious when they check the balance of their checking and or savings account. Okay, so this is around money avoidance. It sounds like most people are anxious about checking their accounts and they cringe even at the thought of having to check their accounts. This is how we're living, you all. This is how we're living. Okay, the next section was around the money mindset piece, which, let me just be clear, money mindset is simply a collection of thoughts that people have about money, period, right? It's just a collection of thoughts that people have about money. And here are 4 that were discovered in this study. The first one was 76% of the people surveyed believe that in order to save, they would have to cut back spending on things that bring them joy. So in other words, in order to save, you got to cut back on your vacations if that's what brings you joy. But what if that wasn't true? Like, I just want to question that right now. That does not have to be the case. I can teach you how. Join me inside the Wealthy Woman's Academy and I will show you how to do this. Number 2, 65% say that they should save more but are so stressed about their finances, they avoid thinking about them altogether, right? That's another thing we do inside of the Wealthy Woman's Academy. We alleviate that stress because it is optional. You do not have to stress about money. I know that the world and society tells you that you should be stressed, but you really don't have to stress about money. I can teach you how. Okay, the third one was 49% say that they wouldn't even be able to cover an unexpected expense of $1,000. So I want to help you become the kind of woman that never ever has to bat an eye at a $1,000 expense. I want you to have so much money stashed away in a rainy day fund, emergency fund, whatever you want to call it, that $1,000 expense is a drop in your bucket and you don't have to stress out about it. That is the kind of work I do with my clients. That is what's possible for you if you are listening to me. That's possible for you. I'm talking to you. And then the fourth one around money mindset was 26% say that stress spending is keeping them from saving money. Wow. So stress spending to make themselves feel better. So when they're stressed about something, the way they make themselves feel better is they go spend. And it's so counterintuitive, right? It's like you're already stressed about money, so you spend to alleviate that stress, but it just backfires and compounds and creates even more stress. And it's this cycle that you cannot break free from. Again, this is the work I do with my clients inside of the Wealthy Woman's Academy. Join me in there. You'll hear a great way to do it in a little bit that can really, really help you to make the decision and to stop waiting. I know so many of you have been thinking about it and you've never done anything like it before. And you're like, I don't know if this is going to work for me. I don't know if I can afford it. I don't know if I want to spend that kind of money. I promise you, investing to fix this stuff will be more than worth it. The return on the investment will compound and compound and compound for decades. For decades. Okay? So if you could get rid of these 4 things that I just mentioned, thinking that you have to give up all the things you love in order to save, you'll start saving more if you stop thinking that. And if you knew how to do it, you will save more. If you learned how to stop avoiding your money so you can catch issues and problems before they even happen, that would just be a game changer for you. If you could be able to cover $1,000 expense without worry and stress, knowing that it was just a drop in the bucket for you, like what kind of life would that be? Like, how would you feel? That to me just feels like security, because life happens. Car repairs, home repairs, just emergencies come up. Things happen out of the blue. And to know that you are good, you are prepared for it. You cannot put a price tag on that level of peace of mind. And then to no longer stress spend, right? You spend, but you don't spend to alleviate stress. You find other ways to alleviate stress. That's why having someone like me in your corner who's a life coach, not just a money expert, but a life coach, I will help you to learn how to manage your mind in such a way that you don't have to rely on your money, spending money to make yourself feel better. We'll come up with other ways that will allow you to build wealth and still not stress. Like that is what's possible for you. Okay, so the next section was all about intentions. So it says that everybody in the study said that they wanted to save more. But when asked about what they would do with money that they received from a raise, 54% said that they'd actually put the extra cash into savings, yet more than half admit to failing when attempting to save more. This is so good because sometimes I think many of us think that if only I made more money, then I could save. Like you think that the answer to your problems is to make more money. And yet when you make more money, you don't save more. You don't invest more. You don't do anything intentionally with the money, even though we say that's what we want to do. That's one of the things I know, especially with women who are good at making money. They try to out-earn their bad money management habits. And there's no way that you can out-earn a poor money management problem or an overspending problem. I promise you. I tried it. It didn't work because It doesn't matter how much money you make. If you don't have a system like one that I teach in the Wealthy Woman's Academy to manage it in a way that will allow you to meet your financial goals, take care of your household, and to build wealth, then when that extra money comes in, it's going to just evaporate. A lot of times we just experience lifestyle creep with that. We don't actually do anything meaningful with that money. And it shows right there in the study. So most people say, oh, when I get that raise, that's when I'll save. That's when I'll invest more. But I want to challenge you on that. Because if right now your habit is not to save it, then you probably won't do it when you have more, right? The truth is, if you start doing it now, today, if you start managing your money now and saving now, you're way more likely to do more of it when you do get a raise. Okay, so the next section was around budgeting. And do you think people loved it? Oh my gosh, here's what people had to say. 54% said that they think it's easier to follow a strict food diet than a monthly budget. And then 57% said that they dread the thought of budgeting. And on top of that, some said they would rather do almost anything else instead of budgeting. So 1 in 3 said that they would rather deep clean their bathroom than check their checking account. And then 1 in 4 said they would rather spend an hour with their ex than create a budget. And then another 1 in 4 said that they would rather run a 5K on Thanksgiving morning than cut back on spending. Yes, this is real stuff, you all. And I bet you all can relate to it. I know I can. But what if all of this stuff is just not true? What if this is just a collection of thoughts about money that are not true? And if you could just change those thoughts, like you wouldn't have to run a 5K if you didn't want to, right? You could actually hire someone to clean your bathroom if you learned how to stay on top of your money and if you had a plan for your money. And you could totally not have to spend an hour with your ex, okay? Like the system that I teach you, you definitely wouldn't have to spend an hour with your ex, right? You'd rather spend an hour with your money once a month that will create a system that you can just easily follow. Again, that would allow you to build wealth and enjoy life at the same time. I promise you, you do not have to do any of these things if you don't want to in order to build wealth. You do not need to avoid your money to that extreme. Okay, so the final area of the study was this one, the fear of missing out, FOMO. And it says that FOMO is taking a toll on folks. It says 83% feel it's important to spend money on experiences that make them happy. And I agree. I agree with this. And that's a whopping 83% that feel it's important to spend money on experiences that make them happy. Yet 76% believe that in order to save, that they would have to give up the things that bring them joy. You see the conundrum there. You see how it's so hard for some of us to grab on. Like we think it's important to spend on things that matter to us and experiences that will enhance our lives. And we also think that it's important to build wealth, but we don't think they can coexist. But what if they can? I'm telling you that they can. And I know that some of you don't believe me because this fidelity mindset study reveals that. And the ladies that had those questions for me after reading my website also questioned it. And this questioning, this disbelief is keeping us ladies stuck. I don't think men question it as much as we ladies do. It's just my opinion. This study actually was both with male and females. But I think that us ladies, we've been fed this bill of goods that we need to cut back on our lattes and our shoes and our shopping, and we need to clip coupons. Like that message has been geared towards us for so long that it's kind of ingrained in our brains. We've been socialized to believe that in order to build wealth that we would have to do all those things. And I want to be the one shouting from the rooftop saying, absolutely not. You do not have to do it that way. Because the truth is, we're not doing it. We're not building wealth because we think we have to do it that way. And we don't. It is what's keeping us stuck. And this is my life's work. This is why I'm so passionate about it. I remember when I was literally thinking, this was after my husband and I paid off over $200,000 worth of debt. And I was like, happy go lucky, like, yeah, we did it. And I remember, so I'm a Christian, I'm a God girl. And I remember not audibly hearing, but just feeling in my soul that I did not break free from that mess, right? My money was a hot mess. I didn't break free from that just for me and my family. It was not just for us. It was so that I can help other women just like you break free. Because I too thought that I had to live in extremes. Either I had to only focus on money and give up everything I loved and not vacation, not create memories with my family, not buy nice things, couldn't buy nice shoes or nice handbags or do the things that I really enjoyed if I wanted to pay off my debt. And I had over $200,000 of it. And so I just kept living life without regards to my finances. And then once I figured out the truth that you could build wealth and still enjoy life, once I debunked the lie that has so many of us stuck, once I knew for sure that that was no longer the case, and I actually proved it to myself by paying off the debt and still traveling, still buying nice things, still keeping my kids in extracurricular activities that were important to our family. No, we didn't just buy any and everything without regards. We were intentional about the things that truly mattered to us. And we spent money on those things. And we stopped spending on all of the random impulse purchases that I used to indulge myself in when I was bored or frustrated or feeling sad for some reason. I learned how to manage my mind without robbing myself of wealth. And if I can do it, so can you. So I remember hearing from God spiritually, not audibly, that I did not help you to figure this out for just yourself. I did this so that you can help other women like you, women who make good money and are stuck between, I need to be saving, I need to be building wealth, but I also want to enjoy life. And so they just live in either one of those extremes. And most of the time, the women that I work with, they're living in the extreme of, I'll worry about my money later, I have time, and they're robbing themselves of financial security. And so I am here, it's my passion, it is my life's work to let you ladies know that this is not the case. You do not have to choose. So there are two more stats regarding the fear of missing out section, and here they are. 71% said that they are motivated to save money, but they don't want to sacrifice their lifestyle. See, they want to save, but they don't want to sacrifice their lifestyle, so they think they have to choose again. It keeps showing up over and over and over again. This is not me saying this. This is a study that was done over 1,000 people, and it represents 98% of Americans. And then the final piece of the study was this: 61% admit that the fear of missing out, FOMO, has them spending more money than they intentionally intended. Okay, so that is the synopsis. That's the overview of the study. Again, you can Google Fidelity Investments Money Mindset Study and get it yourself, print it off, read it yourself, digest it. The way they have it laid out is really, really easy to read. It's not like a big wordy study. They broke it down into components and parts. So it's really, really easy to digest. Okay, so you heard it, not just from me, but from a reputable study, that we think that in order to build wealth, we have to give up the things we love. And that way of thinking is hurting us big time because it's keeping us living in the extreme of waiting until some undefined time in the future to get our money under control. And we are robbing ourselves from experiencing financial security today and in the future. So that is why I created a free on-demand training that's available right now. It's brand new, and you can sign up for it by going to the show notes or by going to jermainefoley.com/wealth class. It's brand new. I just uploaded it. And the title is How to Build Wealth Without Going on a Strict Budget. I picked that title because I did a survey in a Facebook group that I'm in, and people said that they cringe thinking about going on a strict budget. A strict budget sounds awful. And so I thought, okay, that's the title. How to Build Wealth Without Going on a Strict Budget. Because I didn't go on a strict budget. I don't teach strict budgets. I know for a fact that you do not have to go on a strict budget in order to build wealth. And I'm going to touch on 3 essentials that you must grab onto if you're going to make that reality for yourself. If you are going to learn how to build wealth without going on a strict budget, then you have to grab on to the 3 essentials that I share with you. I do not teach you how to budget in this class. This is not a budgeting class. This is a class that is going to help you to transform the way you think about your ability to build wealth. It's going to transform what you think you have to do in order to build wealth. And that is the key. Creating a system for your money, a budget, and all that. Yes, you're going to do that. Especially if you join me in the Wealthy Woman's Academy, I'll teach you my system, but you can Google how to create a budget. Like, that is not something that I need to teach you in the class. But what I do need to teach you in the class is something that is not talked about often. And those are the 3 essentials that you must grab onto if you're going to do this. If you're going to let go of the societal programming that tells us that we have to sacrifice and give up everything we love in order to build wealth, if you're going to let that go and liberate yourself, then you've got to grab onto the 3 things I'm going to share with you in the class. And in the class, I will also share a very special limited time bonus offer to join me inside of the Wealthy Woman's Academy. Okay. Number 1, I'm going to show you why you must adopt a do both mindset. Number 2, I'm going to show you how to decide what it means for you to live and enjoy life. Listen, I think some of us have it twisted. We think that just being able to just do whatever you want when you want and buy whatever you want, that's living life. No, it's not. That's robbing you of the ability to truly live life, right? Because if you're spending your money on any and everything without intention, you won't have anything left to spend on things that truly matter to you. So let's just set the record straight with that. And I'm going to show you how to figure that out for yourself, like what it means for you to enjoy life. And then the 3rd essential is all around how you can become the kind of woman who consistently builds wealth, right? You can just become the kind of woman who consistently builds wealth and you live a good life. You can just become her. You can just say, okay, that's who I am now, period. I'm leaving the other person behind, the one that thought that they had to give up everything they loved and was living in extremes. You can give her up and adopt this new person and become her immediately. And I'll show you how. Plus, again, I will be offering you all a bonus offer to join me inside of the Wealthy Woman's Academy. And this is a special that is time-based. So once you sign up for the class, the clock will start ticking and you will have a special limited time bonus offer to get my help with implementing not only these 3 essentials, but to literally change your life so that you can no longer buy into the lie that the only way you can build wealth is by completely sacrificing everything that matters to you. Because that, my friend, is keeping you stuck. It's keeping you living a life that is not your best life. So all you have to do is go to jermainefoley.com/wealth class or go right to the show notes, click on it, sign up for it, and you will immediately get access to it. And then I'll share with you how you can get a limited time special bonus offer to join me inside of my signature coaching program, the Wealthy Woman's Academy. I've actually included some updates to the program. I'm going to leave that to you to discover by going to register for the class, and I'll give you all the details during the class. All right, I will see you next week. Bye-bye. Hey, before you go, if you're ready to create a life with more money and more freedom, then you're invited to join the Wealthy Woman's Academy, my signature coaching program where you'll learn how to take control of your money and build wealth without sacrificing your lifestyle. To get started, head on over to jermainefoley.com/WWA. That's Jermaine with a G. See you over there. Bye-bye.